Bri Guy here, and it's time for another Pixels Refreshed. Today I'm doing Eastward, which is a new game I'm excited to check out. I've been checking out this artist's work on Twitter for a long time, ever since the game was first announced, and I saw the first snippets of art. So this is one that I was really excited about. Once again, lead artist at Massive Damage Games. I've done pixel art for 5 years, and yeah, I'm really excited to dig into this one. Let's get going. Let's get going. So let's get going. This is like otherworldly right away. I like the feel that we get. I mean, none of this is pixel art, so this is making me wonder if this is some kind of cutscene animation that they've set up. So this is mostly just like a swaying distortion effect that we're seeing in a lot of common games. The big difference here, so what we're seeing that's very different than a traditional pixel art game here, is that the lighting is all being done in engine. So this is all being manipulated by lighting. I'm not sure whether there's a couple ways that they can do this. So we have this kind of base lighting effect that's coming through. So this can either be cast shadows by objects in the environment, but these don't seem to match it. So they could have put like an object in front of the light, or they could have used a light cookie and they could have literally drawn any silhouette on a spotlight that it casts as a shadow like that. Using bloom, you can see bloom in these kind of areas here, and then you get these gradations. So the drawn pixel art is very Super Nintendo-esque, and what's modern about this is all of the post-processing. We got modern lighting, we have bloom, we have color grading. So, and what color grading is, I'll explain in a minute. So this is color grading right here. We're seeing the colors of the scene being pulled in. So there's a yellow, blue, green wash over the entire scene right now. Once again, you're seeing bloom come through these lights right here, and we're having a vignette kind of around the outside. Also, like this blue is washing over. So this is using modern post-processing to really try to bring the scene together. Cool stuff. Scan line effects. Okay, more animated cutscene. I love these animations. Now they've really kept the frame rate limited here. I'm seeing right away. This is very like 10 frames per second, very classic Super Nintendo. For Star Renegades, we doubled that. We did 20 frames per second, which is actually more like what you see with Metal Slug. Now, this is not the game's frame rate. The game is running at 60 frames per second. This is the rate at which the sprite animations cycle to the next frame. So it's a different thing. So don't hear 20 or 10 FPS and think this is a 20 or 10 FPS game. It's just how many drawn frames there are running per second on these sprites. They're moving around the scene at 60 frames per second, but they cycle frames at a much slower rate. Once again, more color grading, some use of lights. A lot of personality. You can actually like count the frames on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's like a 6-frame idle for that. Beautiful little waving animation. Like this whale asset. So this right here, we saw this on we saw this when we were watching what was the most recent one that I did? Replaced. When we were watching Replaced, we saw this effect. So this is rim lighting, which is very common. I think it was mostly popularized by Mario Galaxy. I don't know if it's the first instance that did that, but with GameCube, they had the TestV engine, and developers figured ways to kind of make their own shader effects with them. And one of the things that they really started loving doing was rim lighting, which is like this. Now, there's a couple of ways they can achieve this. They can either just draw a pixel layer that gets revealed by a light source, or they can make a normal map that is everything except the outer edge of pixels. And then the outer edge of pixels will get revealed by whatever the light source is. So that might be one of the things they do. Now they're using an actual shader for the water here. It looks like some kind of water shader effect that isn't pixel art at all, with pixel art assets in it. Love that jump. So much personality in these characters. Like, I'm wondering what combat and stuff's going to be like in this. So we're seeing emission on these lights. So these lights have emission around them. You can see it right here too. Right there, you're getting emission on all of these lights. On this character here, and the effects. So these are all things that were impossible. Oh, I love this. This is like a little snippet right there. But this is like, it's like Earthbound mixed with Real Monsters. You're getting kind of like Japanese pixel art with kind of like some Western design feel in some of these things, which is kind of cool. Really great use of very consistent perspective drawn, great use of assets. Oh, that's so cool. So you have a bit of motion blur in this scene. You have specific things that are bringing this away from what you would see. So this game would never have been possible. And this is kind of using pixel art as an art form rather than using pixel art as a limitation. It's kind of like taking whatever aspect of pixel art from the past that you wanted and then adding the things that are making your unique visual experience. So when you're doing a game like this, you have some options. You can choose what your art is going to be. You can choose whether you want modern lighting or whether you want to set your objects more like a little diorama in 3D. You can choose whether you're bringing modern post-processing. All of these things are going to add complications and limitations, but they're going to create a unique visual look. So choosing how you handle these things is really what makes a game special. So a game like this is using more of the complete post-processing and maybe a bit of the lighting profile we see from modern engines with more of a classic aesthetic on the games. So I'm very curious how this is going to turn out. It's got really great animations, really good personality in the characters, and really solid art direction. The way that the colors and the color schemes are set up is absolutely wonderful. I'm very excited to play this. I've been excited to play it since I first saw it, and I'll give another update when it comes out. Anyways, that was another Pixels Refreshed. I hope you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.